What's going on, everybody? Tukey here, back again, and it is, once again, reverse retro season. In this video, pretty straightforward, pass or fail for each of the 32 NHL teams. Let's get down to business. I want to shout out, of course, one of the best sites in the world, NHL Uniforms. The Anaheim Ducks, the first team that we're talking about. This was their 2021 reverse retro, which, you know, again, my original review and everything, it's out there. I actually think I did 2 reviews of these. The initial reaction, like a month later, how I felt about them. In terms of how I feel about this jersey now, it is still a pass. I like just how ridiculous it is. I don't know if I'd buy it. I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, for my personal jersey collection, I really only need like one jersey from each team at this stage, just due to a spacing issue as someone who owned over 100 jerseys at one point. The Ducks reverse retro, a major W. This is a pass for sure. Obviously, very much based off of their 2000, their 2007 Cup winning look. Only issue that I really have, and I'm a stickler for something like that the number overlaps with that little bottom stripe. But no, this jersey's fantastic. It's the logo that they should be using full time. I do have their current orange alternates that should be their home jersey. The one that Trevor Zegras is wearing on the cover of NHL 23. This is a fantastic jersey. That is a pass. And if some people want to label that as their favorite Ducks jersey ever, I would not be surprised. A major, major win for the Anaheim Ducks. No doubt about that. Then we get to what has been deemed maybe a little bit more of a controversial jersey at this stage. This was the reverse retro last year for the Arizona Coyotes. Got to be honest, I don't think I'd buy it, but I don't hate it. It is ridiculous, but let's be honest, the jersey it was based off of was rather ridiculous as well. This year, they went, of course, with the same kind of template, just the, opposite end of the color spectrum. And I'm going to deem this a pass as well. I didn't want to go like, out of 10 or anything like that. Just, does it get the job done? I don't mind it. I don't. I mean, based off of Coyotes jerseys, where exactly, did you expect them to go with the reverse retro kind of look, given that they've gone back to the Kachina look full time? This was obviously going to be the way to go. In terms of, do I prefer the 2021 or 2022 version? At this stage, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's a pass yet again for the Coyotes. I'm not saying it's necessarily a great jersey, but I don't think it's a terrible jersey either. Treating the jersey for what it is, there are certainly worse ones that we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to give the Coyotes a pass as well. Then we get to my team, the Boston Bruins. This was their reverse retro last year. A jersey I still need to get my hands on. They yet again decide to drop these right in the holiday season. Really, let's be honest, to make up some revenue lost, of course, over the course of the pandemic. This jersey, 2021, I wasn't sure how to feel about it. I feel like it's aged pretty well. And then speaking of aging pretty well, the Pooh Bear is in fact back. That is a phenomenal tweet right there. That's beautiful. I like it. I do. As someone who owns an original Pooh Bear, it's a classic jersey, really, for how kind of trash a lot of people thought it was at the time and still might, but the color scheme works when, with it being a primary white instead of a primary yellow. I don't know if I'll buy it. I probably will. The Bruins are one of the few teams I make an exception for where it's like, I need more than one jersey. They're my favorite team, obviously. It's another pass. This starts off pretty damn strong. And again, the majority of these jerseys pretty much become available on the 15th. It's going to be a pain in the ass to try to get them. Let's be honest. It was a bit of a pain in the ass to try to get them in 2021 as well. It was, buy this now, or hey, yeah, I'm probably not getting one anytime soon for under $250, $300. That might be on the low end, but 3 passes to start things off. It brings us over to the Buffalo Sabres. This was their Heritage Classic jersey. I forgot they had a Heritage Classic jersey. That was a pretty good one. This was their reverse retro from last year, and they obviously went with kind of the same theme this year, taking a jersey from the Dominik Hasek era, essentially, and putting the more modern colors on it. So for example, that Sabres jersey was based off of this one right here. The primary red, of course, with the god-awful collar. And this current reverse retro very much based on the top two jerseys as well. I have it as an in-between. And maybe I should have put the Coyotes in the in-between category as well, if I'm allowed to do that. Is there a pass-fail or somewhere in between? There is now. It's somewhere in between. I don't hate it, but at the same time, I don't know. There's just something about it where it worked so well with those colors and with blue and yellow. I'm gonna have it as a pass. I am going to have it as a pass. I need to see more of it though. And this, I believe, is pretty much all the Sabres. Yeah, it's all the Sabres have available for their look. They do have the video here. In which case, is there a better look at like the back of the jersey from this video? Yeah, it's kind of what you would expect. I'm going to label that as a pass, but for some reason, it's just not this automatic, my God, that's a winner, even though this is one of my favorite jersey sets of all time. I was kind of hoping to see the red and black come back, and that this would be like the one Sabres jersey that I own. That is not going to be the case. I was going to say I don't. Simpsons. I don't remember. Sabres fans, let me know. Weren't they going to do like a throwback for this jersey anyway as their third jersey this year? Am I wrong on that? Let me know. I hope they do bring back the red and black at some point, because some of those old CCMs are, I don't know, they could fit a bit weird. Let's be honest. So Buffalo, I'll give you a pass. Calgary, it's a pass. I mean, it's a pass. It's very much, of course, based off of the mid-90s Theo Fleury era style jerseys, which, similar to the Arizona Coyotes, were fairly terrible. Honestly, Calgary's reverse retro last year, I don't know, wasn't necessarily a home run for me. Again, not bad, not great. This jersey here, kind of in the so bad it's good territory that it's going to be a pass for me. There were certain aspects where like the shoulders for some reason are a bit funny to me, a bit wonky. They had the same font style choice that they had from last year's reverse retro. Very much in that Arizona style of, let's be honest, it's a pretty ridiculous jersey, but I do like it for what it is. Again, still won't be that jersey where I'm like, yep, that's my number one Flames jersey choice, but that's another pass. I do think they started off pretty damn strong for the collection. We go to the Carolina Hurricanes. Their reverse retro last year, very polarizing. I'm still not a fan. It's tough to have a bad Whalers jersey. I don't think this is a bad Whalers jersey. You know, you go back to the history of the Hartford Whalers. I mean, come on. Anything that they did was phenomenal, whether it be the more classic look and their final look with the navy blue, which is one of my favorite jerseys of all time. It's tough to have a bad Hartford Whalers jersey. They go with the Canes look this year, and it's tough to call it a reverse retro because the Canes have only had this look for the past 3 years. It is an alternate version of the Canes word mark. I don't hate it. Again, I don't. I'm getting serious New Jersey Devils vibes from this. I don't think it's bad. This would be another one kind of for the mid-tier. If you had to say pass or fail, I'd probably lean more towards a failing grade on this one, but at the same time, that doesn't feel right. Like, this is the perfect definition of mid-tier for me, where it's not a bad jersey, it's not a great jersey, it is truly somewhere in between. And of course, thanks to Walt Ruff, what a great name. One of the rare teams, if not the only team, that we kind of know the full uniform set for at this stage. But yeah, it is very, very New Jersey. Chicago, again. Oh, good, you can pre-order that. I'm probably going to, because this is one of my favorite jerseys they've ever put out. If you've been around here for a decent amount of time, you will know I am very much in favor of the idea of a logo change and a name change. Call me a liberal cuck if you want to. It's my opinion. Take it or leave it. I don't really care what you do or what you think in regards to my opinion on that. Chicago's reverse retro last year sucked. Let's be honest. Just as generic of a jersey as you can get. If you like it, cool, whatever. Me saying it sucks shouldn't offend you personally. It was fine if you want to say that. Chicago themselves, in terms of jerseys they've had, we'll go back to the 2009-2011 set. An amazing set of jerseys if you just had a different logo on it. Let's be honest. They used to have the middle one based on the Winter Classic. I sold it. I don't currently have a Chicago jersey. And this one will change it. I do believe the current logo is right there on the left-hand shoulder. Can always just unstitch that. Very much, of course, based off of some of the older jerseys that they have had in the past. This is 100% a pass and will likely be my new Chicago jersey. I mean, as much as people are like, oh, reverse retro this, it's like, okay, so if it's not a primary black, it's going to be a red or a red or a white, in which case it wouldn't even be a throwback. So Chicago, GG's on you. You get a rare like for the Chicago hockey team, who again need to change 3 things. First and foremost, their god-awful owner. Shorten the name to Hawks. Change up your logo. Fan base, phenomenal. That team's overdue for a new look. The Colorado Avalanche. The reverse retro last year was arguably the best in the entire bunch with the Nordiques look. That is a grail jersey for me at this point that I wish I had bought at the time, but 2021, oof, just, too many good jerseys to try to buy at once. I mean, if I bought every 2021 reverse retro I wanted at once, that would have been at least $1,000. Colorado, fantastic jersey. Fantastic jersey. They kind of do go back to the era. They weren't the only team to go back to the era of the Colorado Rockies. I will say it's not as good as the Nordiques look, but it is a really solid jersey. I think the color scheme works very well. Obviously, it's more of the, it's the current jersey template. I think it's really good. It will be a direct comparison to New Jersey once we get there. This is another pass for me right now. I don't think Colorado will be considered necessarily in the best of the bunch, but for a Rockies throwback, the color scheme works very well with that jersey template and the logo. While some people might find it to be a bit plain, I honestly kind of like it. So thumbs up for Colorado. And all of that good momentum comes to a grinding halt with the Columbus Blue Jackets. My goodness. This was their reverse retro last year. By comparison to the 2022, this jersey is an A++. I thought this jersey was it's okay. Good use of the old original logo. It's fine. This is probably, certainly so far in this video, the worst one we've seen yet. And it's got to be in my bottom 3, if not the outright worst. Columbus did in the past have black as more of a primary color, in the Rick Nash era. This is obviously the jersey that they're doing a bit of a throwback on. That jersey didn't necessarily work. I don't know how certain people feel about it, but it was, This is abysmal. This is absolutely abysmal. This is, as my initial reaction was and will still be, bad EASHL jersey. This is a gigantic fail, in my opinion. Again, you like it. Hey, more power to you. I think that's just horrific, frankly. The Dallas Stars, perhaps the winners of last year's worst reverse retro. Detroit was very much in the running for that as well. This was fucking horrific. The laziest attempt at, oh, hey, see, look, it's a throwback of that beautiful jersey that everyone still loves. Absolutely horrific. This year, it's better. More based off of the late stage Minnesota North Stars jersey, and really the first couple of Dallas Stars jerseys as well. Of course, that you have here, the very end of the Minnesota North Stars. Just for that reason alone, it's a win for Dallas to actually have that fan base get a good, proper reverse retro. And in and of itself, I think it's a fine jersey. It is. I do as well kind of get EASHL vibes from this. It's like, okay, I didn't unlock the Dallas logo, or I didn't unlock the Dallas Stars jersey, but I unlocked the right to use the logo. It's fine. I would give it a pass, especially compared to last year. The jersey itself is maybe a little bit more middle ground to that, but compared to some of the other jerseys, Columbus, a win for the Dallas Stars. Detroit. Hate to say it, Detroit's 0 for 2 in the reverse retro era, which is pretty much only going to be 2 rounds with Adidas leaving. Last year's reverse retro was a practice jersey. Let's call it what it was. This year's reverse retro, very much based off of this era right here. Now, they had a throwback for this style of jersey in the late 90s, early 2000s for the Detroit Cougars. I had a Steve Yzerman of this. Honestly, a pretty nice jersey in that version, especially when you have it in person, see it directly in front of you. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And I kind of agree with this person here. How difficult is it to just take that original jersey and to invert that instead of adding black to a Detroit Red Wings jersey? There is something like that as well. Is it better? This person, is it better than last year? Yeah. I'm sorry, man. That's just black on a Detroit Red Wings jersey. Just doesn't work. We'll talk about Toronto being boring a little bit later on. I would have preferred Detroit to be a little bit more boring here. It just doesn't work for me. Detroit gets a fail on this one. The Edmonton Oilers, last year's reverse retro. I'd also call it a little bit polarizing. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I'm still not, to be honest. But what people were clamoring for then and what they finally get this year is the McFarland logo reverse retro. That McFarland jersey, infamous at this stage, a big-time fan favorite. I love it as well. This time out, they mix in the orange to the McFarland. I like it. I like it a lot. I still think I like the other, the original version a little bit better. But in the grand scheme of things, is this one of the better reverse retro 2.0s that are out there? Absolutely. It's a pass for the Edmonton Oilers, and I think this will be a rather popular one, all things considered. But I do like it quite a lot. Don't know if it's, again, towards that top of the list for me in terms of, I have to get this jersey right now. But it will be for a lot of people. The Florida Panthers, reverse retro last year, arguably the best of the bunch again. This one very much competing with the Colorado Avalanche for me. You look back at that old style of Panthers jersey, and then this one just for whatever reason clicks the best. It's like the best of that old look. Absolutely love it. Still want to get my hands on one of these. What a phenomenal jersey. This year, unfortunately, it is a throwback on the jet blue jersey, which is, again, somewhat infamous, a jersey that came to fruition due to their primary sponsor at the time being the company JetBlue. I do like those quite a bit, as hated as they may be by some, just because the color scheme works really well. This does not. This does not. I hate to say it. I don't even what the hell yes. Beautiful creativity from Alex Gruber there. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. There's another jersey coming up very, very soon with that same shade of baby blue, we'll call it. That works a hell of a lot better. It's going to be a fail for me from the Panthers. It honestly gives you kind of knockoff merch vibes. I don't mind them using that logo as the main logo, but yeah, that doesn't work for me. The Los Angeles Kings go with, well, honestly, what was kind of expected for them to go with. Their reverse retro. You look at the Legends Nights, like they love breaking out the old school style. Of course, last year they had the Gretzky era, 90s logo on it. Passing jersey for sure. Don't think it was one of the best necessarily. This year they go with the same idea, just a different logo. And again, it's a pass. I don't think it's like, I don't know. Do I feel like with Lakers colors, it's the best jersey that they have? Not necessarily. It's certainly not a bad jersey. maybe it's just the idea that, like I said, as we kind of look at this, like they do like to throw back to the Lakers colors quite a bit, which again they had through the 60s up until the late 80s. I don't know. I think I'll revisit this one. Obviously, the main issue for me is it's just very similar. You know, they go with the Lakers style color scheme 2 years in a row. I like it though. I do like it. I'll give it a pass. I'll give it a pass. Maybe not the biggest effort from them to try and be all that different though. Minnesota last year in terms of being different. Holy hell. Were they different? The Subway jerseys, not a fan of these then, not a fan of these now, to be honest. This year, it's a little bit better in that they're going more North Stars era. But again, you're going North Stars era. Like this, it was the goal last year. It's just an inverted version of what you had last year, essentially. I got to give it a fail because as this person puts here, this is 2 years of North Stars jerseys, and they're not the North Stars. They are the Minnesota Wild. You could have brought back this style of jersey, any of these style of jerseys. This is my personal favorite Wild jersey of all time, one that I have as a Jason Pominville. It looks like that one might be a Pominville as well, fun fact. Yeah, I don't understand their desire to not kind of use the history. Really, it's another Minnesota North Stars jersey. So I'm going to give it a fail for that reason. Just not the most creative. Is it a bad jersey? No, but you had a great chance. You do have some good jerseys in your history, and you just ignored them. I don't understand that. Montreal. Oh boy. Last year's reverse retro, obviously a bit controversial, a primary blue as opposed to a primary red. I don't think that's a bad jersey at all. I think it works. Is it gross? Of course it's gross. I mean, gross in all the wrong ways. Let's be honest. It's not right. It's very uncanny valley, but it's not a bad jersey. This year, they kind of go with more of the blue. And it's funny that this person's asking about toques or whatever, because I think it might work better as a toque. You know, the old Montreal Forum used to have the kind of dasher color in that style of blue. So it is a throwback in that regard. I don't know. I want to really like it. I like it less than last year's option. I get what they were going for. It's going to be a fail for me, but if you tell me you really like this, I can agree with it. Maybe what's just throwing me off is the only bit of red, of course, being on the logo itself. I think that's what's throwing me off about it. Nashville, last year's reverse retro. Honestly, fine. It was fine. I don't know. It's a bit too much gray for me as a primary color, as opposed to like an accenting color. Their Stadium Series, great color scheme. Smashville, holy shit, that was talk about polarizing. This year, they give the people what they want. The mustard cat is back. And for me, that's a pass. I mean, I don't know how I feel about the little Nashville between the old school NHL logo and the main logo itself. It's a pass, though. This is what I wanted from Nashville last year. I didn't necessarily want a throwback on like their original style of jersey because it wasn't even that much of a throwback based off of the silver on top. But you give us a throwback of the mustard cat, just more with current colors, right? I mean, again, there's a reason they call it the mustard cat. Look at it in all of its horrifically beautiful glory. Nashville gets a pass for me. Again, don't know if that immediately jumps to the top of my list, but I do love that logo. Absolutely love that logo style. I'm okay with it. Now, again, you know, call me hypocritical for calling some of the other ones boring. This person here, I think potentially rightfully so, calling this boring. But when you give the people what they want, I am going to give you some credit for that because you should take the easy W, unlike the New York Islanders coming up. But we'll start off with the New Jersey Devils, the other team, of course, kind of doing the Colorado Rockies, not the baseball team, the Colorado Rockies throwback. The Devils reverse retro last year was okay. It was okay. There is something about that shade of green, I'm going to call it pea soup green, that it's a little bit funky as a primary as opposed to the heritage jersey that they did have a few years ago that I actually still use to this day that I like a little bit more. This one for Colorado, like, do they do it better than Colorado? I'm not sure. This person here mentioning, like, why not do something like that? And I kind of agree with that. I don't think it's necessarily a bad jersey. To be honest, I don't mind how the Devils jersey looks. I'm going to give this a pass, but I understand while certain Devils fans would have wanted a bit more green, but I kind of like how they got away from the green. It's, again, not going to be my primary choice for a Devils jersey, but based off of the theme that they were going for with the old school Colorado Rockies, I like it. I like it a lot. That's a pass. And then this one. Maybe, again, the most disappointing of the bunch. We get to the New York Islanders. Last year's reverse retro, I liked a lot, even though it's not what people wanted. Very much based off of the late 90s, early 2000s kind of look. Really, you could even argue their look to this day that they've brought back. The color scheme works. Like, make no mistake, this is a gorgeous jersey. But laziest reverse retro? Yes. And they are right to put that amount of sass. This is a beautiful jersey. I love it. I want it. The colors are perfect. Oh my God, it's great. Still want that Islanders jersey. But for reverse retro, lazy as hell. So what did they do this year? They give the people what they want, but they do it in such a lazy fucking way, bringing back the Islanders fisherman. You have a jersey like this that is now beloved but was extremely hated at the time. And just how 90s it is. And you bring it back like this. It's a fail. It's a fail. And again, I don't think it's necessarily a bad jersey. No, unlike last year where it was clearly a great jersey, just didn't fit the theme. This is a bad jersey that almost mocks you with the fact that it's supposed to be reverse retro and it's not good. Very, very disappointing again from the New York Islanders. The Rangers, last year, I don't even think I've seen this one yet, despite bringing it up on Twitter. The New York Rangers reverse retro last year, I hated, to be honest. Very honestly, the Islanders did this year what the Rangers did last year. Here's our old logo. Rest of the jersey is lazy as all hell. Good memories, of course, for the Lady Liberty jersey back in the day. Boy, that reverse retro was lazy as shit. This one, same style, better. By default, better. I mean, it's the same thing as last year's. Pat McAfee's going fucking nuts over there. Same thing as last year in terms of the idea of being a throwback for the Lady Liberty style. But, that's the takeaway from me, is this should have been the jersey last year, and you should have looked to have done something different this year. What would you have necessarily done a reverse on? I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm shocked they didn't go with like a primary red. I mean, unlike the Habs, they weren't willing to go in that direction. You have some Winter Classic and Stadium Series jerseys that you could have gone over. It's okay. Honestly, as I think about it, I'm going to give it a fail. This is what it should have been last year, even though I don't think it's great. So then you do it this year when you had other options. Kind of similar to the Minnesota Wild. It's not bad itself, but you're just missing the theme, so I'm not going to give the Rangers a passing grade either. Ottawa, I mean, let's be honest, they're sticking to this look. Last year's reverse retro, let's be honest, was hardly a reverse retro. I mean, they brought back this look with the black and white, of course, their current home and away. So then they do this, which honestly I don't think worked at all. Kind of gross, really. This year, they bring in this, which is a version of the Heatley, Alfredson era Ottawa Senators, even a little bit before that. Gotta be honest, it's a miss for me. I didn't like this original jersey. I liked watching the team at the time, but honestly, I thought this version of the jersey was terrible, whereas the one below it there at the bottom would have been the one I would have used for this reverse retro style, because this is one of, if not the best style of Sens jersey that they've ever used. They bring back this version, and it's just lazy. It's just lazy with the red random stripes without the white in it. It's a fail from me. Sorry. I think, again, the Sens, good options, good possibilities for reverse retro. No, doesn't work for me. Philadelphia, same thing. not really getting creative again. It's an inverse of an inverse. This was last year's reverse retro, which was okay. Wasn't one of my favorites. Wasn't one of the worst. And then this year is basically an inverse of that, which, it's okay. Kind of. Honestly, getting practice jersey vibes with the way the white and black work. Just that little bit of orange. This is a fail from me as well. Congrats to Travis Sanheim on his new contract. He deserves it. He's a great player. But that's another fail for me from Philadelphia. Honestly, I think last year's reverse retro worked a little bit better than this one does. You know, you have this, the fantastic 2012 Winter Classic, which is my favorite Flyers jersey of all time. Shit. Reverse retro, the Stadium Series. Either one of them. It's a fail from Philadelphia. Pittsburgh. Last year's reverse retro. Looking like this. Of course, the late 80s, early 90s style. The word mark. Good passing grade for that. This year, it's hardly even a reverse retro. It is essentially almost bringing back that style of jersey, really. I mean, it's, it is basically, like, if you take a look at it, as NHL uniforms, a lot of people must be on at this point, it is basically that top style of jersey with the gradient style logo being back. Big fan of that logo, for sure. Very nostalgic. This is a big passing grade for Pittsburgh. Sometimes you don't have to try so hard, and you can get a passing grade and give the people what they want. I'm a fan of this. Might have to go for this one. I got to be honest. I might have to. This might be a pickup for me. Passing grade for Pittsburgh. San Jose. A lot of options, of course, in their history. Last year's reverse retro was a fail for me, with it being primarily gray. However, it's not really a reverse retro of their jersey. It is more so a throwback to this right here with the California Golden Seals. Basically now the California Golden Sharks. I'm torn on this one. I am. I think the word mark, it's just so plain by the end of it. Like, you look at the jersey from this angle, pretty damn solid. The colors really pop. Big fan of that. But then as you just kind of get the full look at it, I don't know. I can't give that a passing grade. I think what would have been better than the word mark is a version of the Sharks logo to really bring it together. I think, you have that style, the colors, bring it together with the Sharks logo. I think it would have been a hit. I think they just missed the mark on it by electing to go fully true to the old style of jersey with the word mark. You slap a Sharks logo on there, make those colors work. It's one of the best jerseys of the bunch. I think they just missed it, unfortunately. The Seattle Kraken's reverse retro. Based here, as you can see, on the Seattle Ironmen. So I respect the fact that they showed you exactly what it was based off of. The jersey itself, I'm not sure. I know what they're going for. I get that it's a throwback to a super, super old jersey. There's just something about it that doesn't click for me. And I think maybe it is what these people are saying. No anchor logo as the go-to. Of course, you can see here, essentially, that is, of course, Seattle's anchor logo, a version of it for that person. But I'm going to have this as a miss. I think probably because of the logo itself. The two colors work pretty damn well together, but I think, unfortunately, for Seattle, they just missed, which, of course, they didn't take part in reverse retro last year, which, why would they have? But it's close, but it's a just miss for me. The St. Louis Blues. I realize we went a little bit out of order there, and that's okay. Well, I guess technically not. But the St. Louis Blues, reverse retro last year didn't work for me at all. I do have in my collection, this version of the throwback, which, I mean, is a classic. I'm not even sure if it's my favorite Blues jersey of all time. It's up there. This will not be replacing it. It won't be. I respect what they were going for, right? I respect what they were going for, bringing it back to the early days. But does yellow work? I don't know. As I look at it, I want to like it for how different it is. And I get that a lot of my takes on these jerseys could maybe be contradictory, but I'm only treating each jersey kind of for itself, unless, I've made those direct comparisons. Allow me to be contradictory if I want. It's my video. I want to like it. I think I do like it. Do I want to fail to? I don't know. This is maybe, I don't know if I could call it the most polarizing jersey of the bunch, but for Blues fans, I think you have some people who absolutely love it. I think you have some people that hate it, some people that like it more than the other ones that are there. I think it's just the white for me it's I don't know, it's weird. I'm gonna label that as an in-between. Ask me in 3 months how I feel about that jersey, especially after I see it on the ice. I think is where I'm at. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Last year's reverse retro was pretty solid. In hindsight, maybe not the best of the bunch, of course, based really off of the 04 style jersey. I think it's aged pretty well. This year, they went where everyone thought they were going to go, off of the Storm jersey from the late 90s, early 2000s, and this is how they brought it back, and this jersey fucking sucks. I'm sorry. The original one, as gaudy and ugly as it is, at least it worked a little bit better than this. This jersey sucks. And maybe that is the appeal of it, is that even beyond the OG version, so bad it's good territory. For me, though, it doesn't bounce back into the it's good. It's the potentially the worst of the bunch. Holy shit, is that just a terrible jersey. The Toronto Maple Leafs. Last year's reverse retro. Again, too much gray. And I get, like it says here, it's difficult for Toronto based off of sticking with their color scheme to make it work. However, while it's basically just a Leafs jersey, it's better than last year. That's a good meme right there. Again, there's only so much you're going to be able to do with the Leafs jersey. It's better than last year. I would give it a pass. Just in a general sense, I might fail it based off of just the concept itself. Good for that guy. It really, emphasizes the pecs. It's something. It's something. I think Leafs fans will be happy with it, as they should be, based off of some of the jerseys they've gotten recently. Never forget the retinas. While the colors are great, they've gotten some shit jerseys recently. So the 2018 Stadium Series, it's an okay Leafs jersey, and by that standard, that means it's actually pretty damn good. Vancouver. Last year's reverse retro, a take on the gradient that I go back and forth between liking and thinking that it's absolute garbage. In fairness, I also didn't like the original gradient. Am I nostalgic for it? Yes, but compared to these two jerseys, the primaries, for me. Controversial take, I know. Vancouver, unless they did fix it and actually posted a damn video. Nope, they didn't. So this is still all we have is the video of it. Here is their reverse retro. It's a pass for me. Johnny Canuck on it. The colors are awesome. Maybe above any other jersey out there. It just, granted, even with Seattle's, it's one of the best examples of like an old school looking jersey. The colors really, really match up to kind of the retro vibe for me. This is instantly a top fiver, maybe higher for me. Just the jersey style itself, the colors. I told you I was a fan of the old school Whaler style jersey as well. For me, with a Canucks jersey, I have one. And I've had a couple before. I've had a couple different styles of Canucks jersey. The one Canucks jersey I own right now is the 2014 Heritage Classic. I fucking adore this jersey, and I think Vancouver did it again. I might have to get a second Canucks jersey. based off of that one. That gets the rare liked tweet from me. Vegas, as we continue to wind this down here, just 3 teams left. If you made it this far, hey, thank you. It's kind of a mini podcast. Vegas's reverse retro last year, meh for me. It doesn't work. The colors just don't really vibe together. Obviously, Vegas now this year using the gold as their primary home. That is what it is. I give Vegas a pass here. The word mark, the colors work a hell of a lot better. This is one of, as this person said here, one of the early ones to leak. I'm not sure how I feel about the font choice, though. I am going to give it a pass. It's a hell of a lot better than what they had last year. Don't think it's the best Vegas jersey. I think just kind of by default, their road jersey is fucking awesome. I'm going to give that a pass, though. I'm going to give it a pass. I would consider buying that, if I'm being honest. So I'd give Vegas a bit of a pass. Washington, their reverse retro last year, top 3. Honestly, I think with Colorado and Florida, they were my top 3 then, and they are still probably my top 3 now. Fantastic use of the old eagle. The colors were awesome. GG's. Still want to get my hands on one of those. Should have back then. Love that jersey. Love that Danhausen. This year, no. Same style, worse than last year's, because you essentially just went with the inverted options. Like, you essentially took the black alternate and applied it to what it was. I don't think it's inherently bad. I get what they're going for. It is exactly as I described it. But it's 2 years in a row of the same style when I'm kind of surprised. Maybe because, up to the mid-90s, that version of the top 8 images you see there, they've used a lot, it feels like, for throwbacks. I mean, the 2011 Winter Classic and stuff like that. I don't think it's bad. I'm not going to fail it. I'll give it a passing grade. I am a little bit personally disappointed that they didn't go in a different direction. But I suppose the 2 jerseys they were going to make are the 2 jerseys that they made based off of the Screaming Eagle. So I'll give it a pass. I don't know. I think maybe I'll feel a little bit better about it down the road. But for now, that is what it is. And then we get to end this on another low note. Let's be honest. The Winnipeg Jets. Last year's reverse retro, absolute trash. I'm sorry. Just absolute trash. The color scheme didn't work at all. This year's, I'm sorry. Hey, again, I'm not going to yuck people's yum. You like it, cool. I think that's trash. I think that's shitty ESHL jersey style. The colors don't work for me. No, absolute garbage. Much like Columbus, just no. I think you had so much potential there, and that's what you ended up with. Absolutely not. If you're talking about the old school style of Jets, there was a different way to allude back towards either one of those successfully. Still, their best jerseys are the 2 Heritage Classic ones, one of which, they use this still as an alternate to this day. Sorry for Winnipeg. This is not a pass at all. So all in all, I'll leave it there. This has been a long enough video to say the least, kind of going through each and every reverse retro. Let me know what you think. I know there will very much be differing opinions, and that is more than okay. Earlier today, there was a video out as well about NHL 23's first roster update. Bad news. It's not good. Check out that video if you haven't already. Again, looking forward to seeing what everyone thinks. I'm going to have to pick up a couple of these myself, including that Chicago one. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.